speak, and if you speak, it's best clear for this whole thing, and that's it. The other thing I would say is this coming Saturday between 10 and 12. It's the official collection day for the charities in the square. The projects marching tonight. We'll be there. We've got a tombola, but come and help just for half an hour. You're very, very welcome. Okay, apologies for absence. Right.
So we received apologies for absence from councillors Billington, Ryan, Chatterwater, Trim and Bartlett, for non-business and one business related.
Okay, shall I propose to accept them? Second, Councillor Rudolph. All those in favour? Everyone? Yes, thank you. Declaration of interest and request for dispensation. So, Councillor Brown.
Dan Fryer, fellow sergeant and member of the motion.
I'm chair. Okay, any other declarations? Good. Number 4 is moving here. So, no public participation. Number 5, full council minutes for November. So, take a look at those. Any comments?
I propose we accept them, but change, but let's just do a spell check on the word town. Town.
Where you spotted it?
Page 1, right at the bottom. TIW.
Okay, well done. Any other comments? Oh, that's it.
Second.
You present, John? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and seconder, Councillor Nash, all those in favour? Yeah, raise your hand. Everybody against? Okay, complaint update.
Yeah, I'll abstain, sorry, because I'm not present.
You weren't there, okay, yeah. Thank you, Councillor. Complaint, Councillor Wheeler.
Yeah, so I have spoken to one of the people that we're going to have written to the 3 persons of the town. One of them has met with me and we've had a good conversation. The other one has not responded thus far, although I have seen them and had a conversation with them, they've not brought that up. The person that complained I am meeting with, I have a date to meet them to give them an update, and I think generally they're happy with the action that we're taking. So if everybody's happy, I will have the conversation with the person that complained and we can close this item.
Any comments?
Well done.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes,
Does that mean that there will be a new document setting all this out and to be adopted by the council and a new, I can't think whether I want compliance or whatever policy?
Councillor Wheeler.
So I don't think there'll be a new document.
The Finance and Governance Committee will review the civic protocol.
And I think what we've done is updated.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
We've updated the civic protocol to cover.
That was protocols like the Tory.
Yes. So that's been updated by the Finance and Governance Committee.
And it takes into account
Entitlement,
what
yes,
you've been dealing with,
yes,
and that's been adopted by the committee.
yes, it has.
Has it actually been to the full council or not yet?
It doesn't need to. It's a document that falls under the remit of the Finance and Governance Committee. When we review all the documents in May, we'll automatically adopt it in May.
Right, okay.
Thank you. Any comments? Okay, on to item 7, the Dorset Council owned asset list, relevant to Minster. So we've got a list of DC-owned assets, and we can consider what's proposed here is delegating those opportunities to the Finance and Governance Committee for a cost review and report back to us as full council. What is the comment?
Well, the list that we provided is a list of all the assets that Dorset Council owns within our parish boundary. And that list obviously includes buildings that would not be suitable for us to enter in the conversation in, such as schools, because we don't have a statutory function in respect of that. So I think, would full council be happy with Finance and Governance Committee doing the research work about what potentially we would think about taking on and what business case we would put in, and then reporting back before we do anything else to see if full council agrees with that?
Councillor Burt.
Yes, putting an old hat on with the East Dorset District Council, when we dealt with all the planning on the Wimborne Road, on the Elcox farm and on purchases, there was a sign or whatever, there's quite large open spaces there, which came to the local authority with a commuted lump sum, a considerable sum of money. In fact, I think it was the best part of £10 million as far as those two estates. I've still got all the records and everything to deal with it in the sideboard at home. I must get it out and refresh my memory. And the idea I thought was that would come over to the town council in due course with a commuted sum as well. Is that what we're beginning to look at or not?
Clark, can I respond?
Well, is it on the list? Is that piece of land described on that list?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you want to have a look at it at some point and then let me know if you found it on there?
So under recreational sites, there is dog deed, which I believe is that sound.
So the list is not what we own, it's all
Dorset Council.
Dorset Council.
Yes.
So that should, those big open spaces. And there's quite a large one, I still call it the Alcock land, but up on the Wimborne Road. There's quite a large open space, and there was a considerable sum of money that came from that development. There was,
Well, look at the list, shall we? Councillor Roberts.
Can you, I don't know if you can enlighten me, St Margaret's Close and what was the other one? Hang on, St Margaret's and St Margaret's Hill. I only thought there was one piece of land there and that was adjacent to the cemetery, so I'd like a bit more clarification on that.
I can't provide that. This is the list that Dorset Council provided. The Finance and Governance Committee need to go away and look at the list and come back with what they think is a suitable proposition for us.
Councillor Nash, sorry.
Just to say, the Finance and Governance Committee wouldn't be in this on our own, as we discussed earlier. There's a number of feed-ins to this that are used from other committees and standing groups within the council, which is quite a large chunk of work.
This is the neighbourhood plan committee. Councillor Woodland.
So this is just a noting that I'm happy for Finance and Governance and the other committees to kind of make sense of this and come back with the story. I'm happy to propose that.
Okay, so I've got a proposal that we can secure finance and read first. All those in favour? Anybody against? Any abstentions?
I didn't hear what you said, Chairman.
So I propose that I'm happy for this list to go to the Finance and Governance Committee and other committees that they want to reach out to bring back a story to the council so that we can understand what this list is telling us.
Okay.
so that means that list, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, will appear in the minutes in those committees.
Correct.
Yes. Okay,
So do we need to vote again?
should I vote again? So you proposed, you seconded, all those in favour of the proposal? Okay, any against or abstaining? Good, thank you. Okay, item 8 is the budget for 26-27. So this is the budget for next year, and to agree the precept request to go to council. So the Finance and Governance Committee has done a lot of work on this to resolve this. We're going to total income, total expenditure, and precept figure request. So, any comments?
Can I just ask a question?
Councillor first. Yes.
Did the finance committee make a decision?
Yes, so Jenny, on the board, Jenny has got a spreadsheet that reflects a income and expenditure budget based on all those income and expenditure lines. Some are highlighted in yellow because we were thinking of taking them out, but they're staying in there. So based on this spreadsheet, which includes the strategic plan line and the community bus and the SIDS and
School crossing.
school crossings and an extra line to support a public work loan to do the work to make the chamber accessible. The total, if you go to the total for us and see where it is. So the expenditure line is proposed at expenditure line. Total expenditure, our income without the precept is that, and then the precept request is 78317, which equates to a what percentage increase? 18% increase on last year's. And that equates to the band D, which is in the yellow.
Band D increase of 18.66. And then in yellow, you've got the increase.
Got a job to hear, sorry.
So the band D increase is 18.66%, and then in yellow, you've got per day, per week, per month, pound cost.
Yeah, the thing that interests me, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
is the increase on the band D. That's the band D is the basis on which all of this,
18.66%, which is £27.72.
so it's an 18% increase
Correct.
on the band D.
Correct.
My word. That
Councillor
should be,
Nash.
Sorry.
that will be popular.
Councillor Nash.
Thank you, Chair. So specifically to that, Councillor Burt, the baseline that we've given for including the items that may have been removed, and then on top of that, having the service provision and the changes to the council chamber to aid accessibility was already eye-wateringly high. But I would point out that 18.6% increase equates to £2.31 a month. So it's a big percentage figure. It was always going to be a big percentage figure, but this is capping pretty much everything we could possibly want to do at what seems to be a reasonable cost at £2.30 for council tax and the property.
Councillor Roberts, did you have your hand up a minute ago? You have your hand up, yeah.
I want a recorded vote, please, Chairman.
Okay, so Councillor Roberts has requested a recorded vote, so what that means, I'll go through individually for names of whether it's a in favour, against or abstention.
All right.
Can I just?
We haven't got, we haven't got a proposition on the table yet.
No, we haven't.
Any more comments?
Can I just make a comment?
Yes.
So, and I apologise because this should have been brought up at the Finance and Governance Committee, I'm sorry, Rod, but we had put in £7,000 to do a master plan. Subsequent to doing this work, the Planning and Right Committee met and said, we're not going to bother doing that work because the neighbour plan covers it all. So we can actually take £7,000 out which we'll do now.
Doesn't shift it much, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
17.53.
Still about 2 for the money.
Councillor Hector.
Thank you. So when I was observing the meeting before, this proposal is not including the youth service provision.
If I may say?
Yes.
That's true. It does include a provision for these services, but for the original £20,000 that we budgeted,
Yeah.
the costing for the Cork Mullen Youth Community service came in. We were expecting it to be somewhere around 30 to 40,000, and it's £80,000. Finance Governance Committee decided not to propose that into this budget because it's, again, to Councillor Bird's point, over in the high already. So we've taken it back down to £20,000. It's very much incumbent on this committee, the full council. We didn't want to take the decision in finance and governance. We wanted to bring it back to the full council because that seems right. It's a very important thing which we've all been working towards for the last year to get youth service provision in this town. At the rate which we were provided with very recently, we didn't find that was what we wanted to propose. So we're proposing £20,000. There is the option at this point to change your minds about that if you would like to.
Thanks. So I was just going to say that my question was that makes sense. I just wondered when we proposed a while ago, Councillor Wheeler, your youth service provision that was agreed and approved. Is that not included in there?
20,000.
20,000. That was your
Yes.
proposal, wasn't it? And we
Yes.
accepted, and
Yeah.
and that's based on. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. That answers that.
Thank you. Councillor Bird. Oh, sorry, 10 o'clock.
The £20,000 is not a cost of the £80,000 is a fully costed.
Yeah.
Councillor Bird.
Yes, so it appears in there that we, if I got this right, we have in this budget that's in front of us a figure of 20,000 and not 80,000.
Yeah.
But if we decide that we want to get into bed with Cork Mullen and Litchett, I think it was, because I know when we talked about this before, I was hinting at looking the other direction, more towards Coal Hill and Ferndown, rather than Litchett. So if in fact we wanted to go into the full youth work, the amount that costs now is 80,000.
Yes.
And that will have an effect on the percentage increase. So can I be told that if we do accept 80,000 rather than the 20 that's in, what will the percentage be on the Band D property?
So if you give us a minute, we'll just plug it in and we'll let you know.
They can work it out.
It will be slightly more than 18%.
Something that-
It goes up to 26.63%.
Then the 6 point.
Yeah.
So that would mean that on a Band D property,
330.
our council tax for the town council will increase by just over 20%.
It'd be £3.30. Yes.
Yeah,
Any other comments? Councillor Wheeler.
I think the point of looking in another direction is valid. I don't know how much Coal Hill spend on their youth service provision, but we do know how much Ferndown spend on this.
I do actually, so I did a bit of research before finance and governance. Bear with me. With the help of AI, obviously, I looked at what town councils provided new service provision, and our nearest one, Ferndown, they spend approximately £124,000 a year. But they also, in that, they maintain a building. They own the building, at Peppercorn Road and BC. The other one local to us is Burwood, and theirs is approximately £74,000 a year. they have community centres in and out of. And there was a couple of others like Frome and other ones, and they were all between 70 to £100,000 a year.
But the 80,000 seems realistic.
Yeah,
That reflects what people pay.
yeah.
Against that backdrop, regardless of whether we go there.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Councillor Nash.
It is realistically 80,000 figure, but don't forget that's in combination with quite a large area. So you would have expected, I would have expected a reduction from that. And actually, if we set out our own, it may be that we can achieve better than 80,000. I don't think 20,000 will be enough, but it may start the process.
Joe, I just think if we need to look at other options, that will take, it means we won't be able to start on 1st of April. So it could be we're looking at a partial fund this year, which should be a consideration we take into account. So perhaps the 20,000 would be sufficient in reality, based on
No, they wouldn't have a staff one.
not even for the part year.
No.
Okay, other comments? Councillor Burt.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry to keep on. But having dabbled in this for something like over 50 years, and not getting my way, I was totally opposed to the creation of a unitary authority. We have the situation now when there's just two tiers. There's the Dorset Council and the town and parish councils. We are the second tier authority. That means that we have more responsibility coming our way than would otherwise have been the case. And I guess we're going to have to bite the bullet that if we want to provide these services, then because of the way in which local government has been reorganised and is now working, more is going to come back to the second tier authority, to town and parish councils. I dread to think what it will be like if we move on to the next phase, which Dorset Council and some of the others are putting together, is Dorset, Hampshire, and Portsmouth wanted to come in, and now I understand Swindon, and that would become a regional authority.
Heart of Wessex.
Yeah. And believe not, that I think will place even more responsibility and cost back onto what would then be the second tier authority. I find it very difficult to actually support or propose that we include the full 80,000. But if we're going to pick up the baton and do a certain amount of youth work, then it's got to be paid for. And 20,000 isn't going very far at all.
Can I just say something before we come into camera? So with the youth service, we've had this group going, we've met several times. I think we all felt that the provision currently is inadequate. And when all the different age groups, I think the youth get the raw deal here. So we did spend a lot of time agonising about it. And we mustn't forget that we're talking about our finance. Councillor Nash.
I think I'm going to make a proposal. I would like to explain this before I did. The information came to us quite late to the Finance and Governance Committee about the costing for the youth services. The decisions we made, I feel we're a little bit rushed this evening, to be honest with you, and I don't think I did a particularly great job of chairing. The thing I would like to propose now is that the line items that we had identified for draft 2 of the budget, Finance and Governance, which included £27,000 works in and around red cots, a bus provision, a school crossing provision, and I forget the last thing, John. something.
Strategic projects.
Thank you. It might be pertinent at this juncture for the full council to propose that we take those line items out and increase the youth provision to 80,000. Could you possibly, Jenny? I'm so sorry. Do that quickly and we can look at the band B.
They can do 3 line items out, reduces it by about 42,000.
Yeah.
So
I think that might put us in a potential thing. I think we're all agreed that the youth service provision that was shown to us was the right attitude towards youth service provision, and it felt great. But yeah, the harsh reality of the numbers is upon us.
And that's a really sensible proposal. Councillor Brown.
I'd like to commend Councillor Burt on giving us a really good viewpoint with your experience and over these years. I think it's very pertinent to consider what you've said there, Councillor Burt, because there will be other stuff coming our way. So this is just the start of it from what I can see. And we need to perhaps have some thinking or strategic thought thinking about how are we going to manage the next thing that comes our way, and who knows what it'll be. We all know there's a huge amount of crisis in what they call it, community care, in both elderly and mental health and all these things, all of which get fed by not having a good youth service. Having had 4 children myself growing up in this town, the thing that I think that really helps kids is having a properly developed youth service. It prevents extra expenditure later down the line. When I was working in social services, every decision we made about the future of a child, what I would say is at least £1 million decision. And so we need to be really careful. And we are being careful, but we need to consider what's going to come next, because I don't think any of us know. I think the way it's going. Sorry.
Thank you. Very good. Councillor Burt.
Yes, well, just a little bit of history. When I was on Dorset County Council, for some years, I chaired what was called the Higher and Further Committee in Education. And I had the youth service, adult education, careers, and I had one more. I forgot.
Children's services.
Universities.
No. I look at all the colleges, so I sat on the governing body, but we had a youth service across the whole county. Each area had a county youth officer. We had youth centres, and it all worked extremely well. But each reorganisation, it just seems to take the service away, and we know we don't have the same sort of provision by local government that we had 10, 15, 20 years ago. There's been backward steps.
Yeah.
Sorry to keep on, but I think
no very real point.
it's going to come back to us as the second tier authority, and gradually over time, we're going to have to pick up the bill for quite a number of the services that are otherwise provided by elsewhere.
Thank you. Councillor.
No, I think Jenny's only ready to show you basically this percentage there, 16.65.
Yeah.
Thank you.
16.65.
Is based on removing a number of lines on the budget, and they are the SIDS speed watch, the strategic plan, the school crossing patrol, and the town master plan, and taking the bus service down to its current contribution rather than expanding it to the new housing estate.
That's with the 80,000 in.
Councillor Beaver.
So listening to the debate, listening to Councillor Brown and to Councillor Brian, sorry, it's late, a long day. There's certain things that you can defer down the road, in order to be able to try and pick them up later on or mid-year, or try and fund mid-year, or look for other alternatives. The youth service provision isn't one of those things. So I'm more comfortable where we are. I'm as scared as everybody at going big percentage. So I think compromise is a good one. It's not, I don't think that's one practical place where we have to put stuff up. Unfortunately, we live in a world where, you know, things have to.
Councillor Morgan.
I must say, I think once we got past the 9% increase, it was the lowest that we came into a couple of hours ago. You know, those curveballs of the costs of youth provision and the building improvement, which is a necessity. They have put me into areas where I'm worried about the percentage, but I think we have to prioritise those things which we must, well, we have obviously have to prioritise those things we must do because we're legally bound to, like the building upgrade, and I think the youth services are absolutely my number one in terms of, so as far as I'm concerned, all of those other things that Councillor mentioned and we've just been discussing, if they can park themselves for a little bit longer. I would love to have them all, but I don't think we have any choice. The youth services must come first, in my opinion.
Thank you. Councillor Lash.
Just a slight bit of change to this. I know the SIDS is pretty much already on schedule. And this is a warning sign which tells the road users that they're going too fast. It's £1.5 grand. And the amount of difference that's going to make to this other washing percentage, I think, is small enough to add that back in at this point. I think that makes sense. So I would like to propose that we accept this budget with that.
Okay, Councillor Roberts.
I totally agree with Councillor Burt about the areas we should be targeting. It's not Litchfield, it's too far away, you know, they're not going to get a bus or what have you in the evening and come in, so the bus service isn't that great. But I do think we ought to be looking at Coal Hill, the Ferndale's got their own music, but I think, you know, you've got to look to the actual small area that we compose. And the other point is, have we had any inkling of what Dorset Police and the Dorset Council are going to put their council tax up by? Because I think that is going to be, once you add hours onto that, it's going to be a horrendous.
Okay.
I know it's nothing to do with it, but we have.
I think we do know those prices.
So just to answer each point, we did approach Coal Hill to provide a youth service, and they would only give us a youth service if it was based at the rate. What Coal Hill will offer us, and will offer Litchfield Minster Upton, is a youth service in our town, and a youth service in Litchfield and Minster Upton town. So we won't be expecting our children to go anywhere else. The service will be provided within our parish boundary.
It's a solely Wimborne service.
And then we don't face a referendum principle of a precept maximum. Dorset Council do, they can't go higher than 4%.
Sorry, one more time. The provision we normally give to the REIT for £5,000 a year, would that come out of next year's budget if we're going to go to the full-blown UK?
Ring fence, if we don't spend, we'll ring fence it into next year. Sorry, same question again.
The £5,000 we give to the REIT every year.
Yeah.
Wouldn't need to be given if we give the safety, if we spend the £80,000.
That's a discussion that I think we'll need to have.
But if
Because
it's there,
of our children.
that's what I'm asking,
Yeah.
stays in line. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
In that case, I would like to propose that we accept this with the SIDS in.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I've got a proposal. Everybody understand the proposal?
So the proposal is that it's the option 2 budget, which Jenny's showing us now, with the SIDS back in.
16.88%.
16.88%.
Which is
I'm not clear.
£2.10 a month.
What is the proposal?
So the proposal is that we go with the second draft of the budget, and we've taken out one or two items, but we've put in the youth service,
Right,
and that means a rise of 16.88%.
so the 80,000 is going in,
Yeah.
and there are one or two other items which were mentioned earlier are going to come out for the time being. I can go with that.
Good, okay, councillor Roberts.
I still want to record a vote, Chair.
Can I, for everyone that's in favour, put their hands up and then keep your hands up because I need to record it, please. In favour, and then. Okay, thank
Those
you.
against?
What's the alternative then?
Yes, is it Ian Tucker?
I just think it's going to cause a lot of hardship.
Okay,
You haven't got an alternative.
You're not wrong.
anything else on that item?
No.
Okay, so thanks very much for your discussion. Item 9, future meetings, you've got the list all waited for you next year, just for noting. And, I'm gonna close the meeting at 8:40.